Howdy folks, and welcome back to the channel where we ask the question, do soybeans rule the world? So today we're going to be talking about the Grand Soybeans Conspiracy. Now, we've talked about it in the past on this channel, that there can be things that the government doesn't tell us that the government does to us. Like, for example, what if some of the foods that we eat could have different um, biological things that happen to us? And so with soybeans, perhaps. So we know that soybeans have the ability to take down like our testosterone levels, which makes us harder to develop and stuff like that, and makes us weaker and physically and mentally. And so, what if these powers of soybeans could be harnessed in other ways? Or what if soybeans? What if that's just not the only effect of that? So that soybeans have on the body biologically. Perhaps governments can be plotting different things within the soybeans that can affect us in different ways. Maybe even tone down our mental state, our physical state, perhaps even our spiritual state. As we've talked about, that the New World Order does not want us to be spiritual and is suppressing our spiritualness. And so we're talking about that today, where the soybeans can be used as a form of bio warfare against rivaling countries or conflicting countries. Perhaps these effects of soybeans that we've been told, not only are there more negative and harmful effects on soybeans that we haven't been told about, but what we've been told, perhaps those soybeans are only given to us. Those effects only come to us Americans. Now, Americans suffer bad, bad. So there are these bad effects that come from soybeans. Perhaps these soybeans are manufactured and are created in order to suppress certain qualities and keeping the human race, not even the human race, perhaps certain people belonging to certain groups, nationalities, not nationalities. I mean, like America, right? Americans. Perhaps these soybeans are being supplied to us and genetically modified in order to have these harmful effects that make us. So you know how the human brain can't. We only use 10% of our human brain. What if it's the soybeans that are suppressing that other 90%? So that means that whatever these soybeans are doing is suppressing our real capabilities, our mental capabilities. Perhaps if you stopped eating soybeans, you'd have psychic abilities. So you should stop eating soybeans and things like that. Maybe the reason why we aren't really able to run as fast as, say, a cheetah or a lion. Do cheetahs and lions eat soybeans? I don't think they do. So perhaps that's the reason why we can't seem to be as physically able as those kind of animals and organisms that don't eat soybeans. Uh, uh, Hummingbirds, for example. Hummingbirds move very, 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 very quickly, and they're very physically able when it comes to flying and things like that. And do hummingbirds eat soybeans? Nowhere that I've heard of. So perhaps this is evidence that shows that eating soybeans decreases your mental, and your physical state, and maybe even your spiritual state. And so it comes to other things such as the planes in the sky. Now, in the sky, if you look at a plane, you may notice that you may notice those little white trails that come out the back of planes. You know, when a plane is going, there's like this little white trail. Well, if you ask mama or papa, hey, what are those trails coming out of the planes for? They're probably going to tell you. They're probably going to tell you that that's the exhaust or whatever, the air being pushed out of the plane. And that's evidence that your mama or your papa or whoever you asked, they are a Fed. They work for the government, they work for the New World Order in order to suppress their biotechnologies. Because the the trails in the sky have the hey are able to so those trails that come out the back of planes, the planes are actually spraying chemicals. They are spraying chemicals on the population. Those trails that exhaust, that's chemicals. That's the reason why they're white. You can't even that's the reason why they're white. So the chemicals are sprayed onto the population. Who knows what this does? Perhaps it's the same thing as the soybeans. They suppress our physical capabilities, our mental capabilities, and our spiritual capabilities, because the New World Order that gives them, the higher powers, the ability in order to control our minds like puppets. We're basically puppets, and so that's why with the whole COVID pandemic, wearing masks, people started to become more physically capable, mentally capable, and spiritual capable, because they were wearing these masks, which were protecting them from the chemtrails, are what they're called, chemical trails at the back of the planes. And so you may be realizing, well, if the New World Order has all this power, why did the COVID pandemic happen anyway? And that's because so that the government can charge their bird drones, because as you know, the birds are actually not birds. They're not real. They are drones. And so they're like these little they have cameras. That's how they spy on all of us. That's a way that they spy on all of us, is the birds. Or these birds, you know. And so the reason the COVID pandemic happened was so that everyone is inside their house and quarantined, and so that the government can charge these bird drones by, you know, if you're not outside, you can't notice that there aren't any birds out, can you? But they still keep a shorter population of their bird drones so that you kind of don't notice them. And so that's that. And so, conclusion, well, the soybeans are used as a form of bio warfare, or perhaps warfare, or perhaps a way for the higher orders in the New World Order government and things like people like that to have more control over us, as we are their puppets and things like that. And so that's why you should stay away from soybeans. You should stay away from airplanes. And what else did I talk about? I forgot. So they also suppress hollow Earth conspiracy. Keep pushing that Earth is hollow. And so hope you enjoyed the video. And if you didn't, leave a hate comment down below. And I feel like I might see you in the next time. Bye, folks.